Greetings, booktubers, and welcome back to Grammaticus Books. Welcome back to a Sunday comic edition, a Sunday comic hidden comic book gem edition of Grammaticus Books, or what was supposed to be a hidden comic book gem. Unfortunately, when I went down into the comic book vault, opened up the giant steel door, entered the vault, pulled out the file cabinet with the A's in it, and started flipping through it to try to find the comic for today's hidden comic book gem, it was missing. And then I remembered that I had loaned it out to one of my kids. And to be fair to my kids, if my head wasn't screwed onto the top of my shoulders, I would lose my head. That's how I am with my stuff. So it may not be their fault, but when it comes to my comic books, I do tend to generally keep better track of them than other things, but who knows? But the point being is the comic's not there, and it's too bad because it was a fantastic comic. So today's hidden comic book gem is a super, super well hidden comic book gem that can't be found. Hopefully I can find it because it is a great one, and then I'll find it and bring it to you guys. But what do you do when you're a booktuber and your video idea goes down the tubes, right when you're trying to get a video up for the channel? Well, you do what all good booktubers do, and you reach out and borrow another booktuber's idea and bring it onto your channel. And fortunately for me, Ollie over at Criminolly, and I'll link his video down below, is issuing the Wasted Weekend Challenge to Booktube. And what the Wasted Weekend Challenge is that you go out and you find a trashy novel and you waste your weekend reading this trash novel. It's a spin-off of his Garbogust Challenge that happens every August. That he does with the Garbogust, read nothing but trash during the month of August. So I'm adopting and accepting Criminolly's challenge, and I've got a stack of book here so I'm going to go through and try to select which one that I'm going to read for the Wasted Weekend in February. And hopefully you guys can help me out as well. If there's one that you guys like, put it down in the comment section below. I'll go through this here and see if I'm leaning in favor of any one of these. And fortunately, for my good fortune, over the last couple of weeks, about the last 2 months, I've been stumbling across a bunch of Lynn Carter paperbacks. And there's nobody like Lynn Carter to write trash. So I've got this bevy of Lynn Carter novels here to go through, and I'm going to pick one of these, or have you guys, if you guys all chime in and there's one that's predominantly on the list, we'll go with that one. But let's take a look at what kind of trash Mr. Carter has brought us here. So number one is The Nemesis of Evil, with a really nice cover on there by Don Mates. And this one is More Action Than Doc Savage, More Adventure Than the Avenger, introducing Zarkon, Lord of the Unknown, and his Omega crew. That may get me. That may reel me in right there. That might be a winner on number one. And I really do like that cover. And it's sort of a half wraparound. You got the look of an evil wizard on the back, up on his throne, with the acolytes, the evil acolytes, all dressed in scarlet. And check out the expression on the young maiden's face of surprise and dismay. That's pretty great. I do like that cover. And that one may have me. More Action Than Doc Savage. How can I resist that? That might be a winner. So that's number one. Number two is Giants of World's End by Lynn Carter. It is, could the combined powers of the wizard and the warrior halt the doom that filled the skies? Giant of World's End. With you can't really call it a bad cover, but man, that's a depressing cover. Looks like they hired Edward Munch to come in and do that cover. This is a lesson in how not to sell books with dreary, depressing covers right there. But anyway, that's Giants of World's Ends. And then we have Tower at the Edge of Time. Tower at the Edge of Time? What strange powers thrust a two-sworded warrior into the abyss beyond time, beyond the universe? A big T science fiction book. I don't know about science fiction, but there's another Lynn Carter special, Tower at the Edge of Time. Followed by Thongor at the End of Time. Well, wait a minute. We got Thongor at the End of Time, and we got Tower at the Edge of Time. I think Mr. Carter's having trouble coming up with original names for his titles for his books here. Little repetitive, Mr. Carter. But anyway, we got Thongor at the End of Time, Thongor must battle his way out of the land of death with but a single weapon, the mysterious sword of light. And this is actually a pretty decent cover. I like that cover. It's got a sort of Wagner-esque feel to it. It's very evocative, moody. I like it. Decent cover. Unfortunately, it does not give credit to who the artist is. But that's Thongor at the End of Time, one of the Thongor series. Followed by Thongor Fights the Pirates of Tarakas, with a horrible cover on the front of it. And then down at the bottom it says, Sorcery and Sea Fighting in Mortal Peril for the mightiest warrior hero since Conan. I don't know about that. I don't think anybody is going to mistake Lynn Carter for Robert E. Howard, unfortunately, with a terrible cover on it. Followed by Thongor and the Dragon City, which that's got to be the same artist. That's got to be the same artist. It looks like he did both of these in about 15 minutes. So we got crappy cover number 1, followed by crappy cover number 2. And what is the Dragon City about? It is about the vampire king of the Lost City. Zothan had ruled in Alm for 1,000 years, master of strange powers, yet slave to his craving for human blood. Nice. We're off to a great start. The Lost City lived only to serve and feed Zothan. Yeah, so if you want to hear about Thongor and the Dragon City and the Vampire King, vote for that one. There we go. And up next is The Man Who Loved Mars, a rare science fiction novel by Mr. Carter. And it's also got a little plug here by Isaac Asimov up on the top. Exciting and Imaginative by Isaac Asimov, the Grandmaster of Science Fiction. How can you go wrong if Isaac Asimov is plugging it? So there's your vote if you want science fiction by Lynn Carter. And I do like that cover. That cover is not half bad. And moving along, keep this train rolling down the track. We have The Black Star by Lynn Carter with what looks like a Frazetta cover. And again, there's no credits in these books for who the artist is, but that sure looks like a Frazetta cover or someone trying very hard to be Frank Frazetta. And you know what? I think I've read this. I have read this. I've read this actually fairly recently. And surprisingly, this is actually an entertaining novel. I mean, nobody's going to mistake it for high literature or Robert E. Howard or Edgar Rice Burroughs, but this is actually a decent novel. I had fun with that one. So I got to take that one off the list. I've already read it. So Black Star off the list, which takes us to our last Lynn Carter novel, the last possible selection for the Wasted Weekend with Criminolly's Challenge, and it is Ilana of Callisto. Ilana of Callisto with another possible Frank Frazetta cover on it. And this is Volume 7 in the saga of Jandar of Callisto. Nothing like jumping in the middle of a series. But that's it. That's Ilana. I've got to say that I am still leaning heavily towards the Nemesis of Evil. But if you guys have different thoughts, put them down in the comments section. I'd like to hear them. But that may be a winner right there for the Wasted Weekend. So that's my Wasted Weekend list. But we've got some more to go here. It's pretty short. Let's throw some other stuff on. Let's continue with our Booktube potpourri here. And I did a recent book haul at a little hidden bookstore that I've got in the area. And I'll go through those real quick. So little book haul. We've got Special Delivery by Gordon R. Dixon, which is part of, where did it go? Where did it go? It's part of his Dilbian series. And I've got the Dilbian book around here somewhere, but I can't, oh, here it is. Pardon me. Yep, Spacepaw. Another one of the Gordon R. Dixon Dilbian series. I've read Spacepaw. I've actually did a video on Spacepaw. This was one of the first videos I put up on the channel, was this and a couple other young adult science fiction novels. And I'll go ahead, I'll link that down below too. This was entertaining. It was actually an entertaining book. Gordon R. Dixon's a good author. And again, there's the Dilbian Special Delivery. So that's the first one. And then I got Zane Grey, Riders of the Purple Sage, a Western by Zane Grey. Michael K. Vaughan loves this book. I saw it out there. I've not read a lot of Westerns, so I figured this would be a good one to start with. It's got a lot of praise from a lot of booktubers, including Michael K. Vaughan. I'm going to save that probably for this summer, and then I'll read this over the summer. followed by The Oak and Ram by Michael Moorcock, with a wonderful cover. Look at all those bright pastel colors on there. Just making that cover jump off the page in stark contrast to, where did it go? Where is it? Here it is. Giants at World End, which is a terrible cover. If you're trying to sell a book, this is how you sell a book with a cover. This is how you do not sell books with a cover. It's not bad. It's just that's not what you want on your cover. You don't want to hire Edward Munch to paint your covers. You want to get Frank Frazetta or Don Mates or somebody else who's good. But anyway, that is The Oak and the Ram. Now, I'm going to put on my Nomex flame retardant suit and say something that's going to get me torched down in the comment section. I'm not a huge Michael Moorcock fan, and that's primarily from reading his Elric stories, and that's all I've read of Michael Moorcock is his Elric. And I've read quite a bit of it, and the reason I don't like Elric, it's written beautifully, he has great ideas, but his Elric novels tend to be devoid of hope, and that's a big negative for me. So I'm really curious to see if a non-Elric novel, this is The Chronicles of Corum #5, if a non-Elric novel is written in the same vein, or if this is going to have a different feel, a different vibe to it than his Elric novels. So I'm looking forward to that. It's pretty thin. Should be a quick read. And then they also had there the Swords trilogy by Michael Moorcock, which collects his Swords trilogy of the King of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and the Knight of Swords. So that was pretty cool. Kind of a sort of a lame cover on there. It's a bit Frazetta-esque, but I'm pretty sure that's not Frazetta. In fact, I know it is. It's signed down on the bottom. It says Ken, and then I can't read it, but not the best cover. But again, it's more Michael Moorcock that's not Elric, so that was a good find. And then the last one is by B.H. Liddell Hart, The German General's Talk. The German General's Talk is a Captain Liddell Hart startling revelation of what really went on in the German High Command during World War II. So after the war, they had all these German generals in the High Command who were prisoners, and they interviewed them. And then Liddell Hart went and got their interviews and went through them and tried to piece together the strategic mistakes that the High Command made, and then put it into his book where he analyzes it. Liddell Hart is known for his books on strategy. He's sort of the British equivalent of Clausewitz. And his big book is Strategy by Liddell Hart that he's famous for. This is not Clausewitz on war. It's not on the same level of Clausewitz. I find Liddell Hart rather tedious. I'm hoping that this is written not in the same vein as Strategy, that his prose in here isn't quite as tedious as his other books, but we'll see. But that's it. It looked interesting. It sounded interesting. I thought I'd give Liddell Hart another shot. We'll see if he can redeem himself from his book here. And frankly, this book, it's not, his ideas on strategy in here, in my opinion, they're not the brightest in the world. I think the British try to hold him up as a Clausewitz, but he's not Clausewitz. But anyway, that's it. I'm currently reading Starship Troopers by Robert A. Heinlein. I'm almost done with it. I should have it done probably tomorrow. It's a fascinating book. When I first read Starship Troopers, I was a teenager. I won't tell you how many decades ago when I read it. This is my first time rereading it since being a teenager and going through it. And I'd forgotten so much about that book, which you would expect when you read something from decades ago. So it's been fascinating doing a reread. I can see why people have issues with this book. I'm going to devote an entire episode to it. It certainly deserves that. And it's going to be a very interesting book to review. It does have a lot of politics in it, so I will tread very carefully, but that should be a good one. I should have that up, the Starship Troopers video up, within the next 7 days. That should happen. But that's it. That's my my failed hidden comic book gem Sunday video that's now turned into the Booktube Potpourri video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And with that, it's late. I'm starting to lose my voice again. I got to do something about this voice, but I'm going to be Grammaticus saying, take care, be safe, and I'll catch you guys next time.